When we come back, the government wants stronger warnings about antidepressants and the risk of suicide. Newly revealed files show the FBI was We are going to take a closer look tonight at the possible link between antidepressants and suicide. The government wants stronger warning labels on 10 popular antidepressants, saying patients taking these drugs should be closely watched for suicidal thinking and behavior. Millions of Americans take the drugs. They account for more than $13 billion a year in sales and more than 150 million prescriptions a year, more than 10 million of those prescriptions for children under 18. Here's ABC's John McKenzie.
The government has been reviewing the safety of antidepressants since last summer, since reports suggested children taking these drugs might be at increased risk for suicidal thoughts and actions. Today, the government said there's now enough concern that the possibility of suicides in children and adults should be highlighted in bolder warning labels.
We're hoping that clinicians and also families and caregivers will hopefully be more observant of patients who are being treated with these drugs.
The Food and Drug Administration wants to see the new labels on some of the country's hottest selling drugs: Prozac, Paxil, Zoloft, Effexor, Celexa. The FDA said doctors should be especially vigilant for suicidal tendencies in the first months after starting a medication, and each time the dose is changed. 19-year-old Badsgard had just increased his dose of an antidepressant when he walked into his high school carrying a loaded rifle.
I was getting pretty low, like rock bottom. You know, suicide was a constant thought that I was having.
Researchers say no one in any of the antidepressant clinical trials ever committed suicide, and they don't know whether any of the suicide attempts were the result of medications or the depression itself.
The FDA announcement is a basic acknowledgement that most prescriptions for antidepressants are being written not by psychiatrists, but by internists and family physicians, who may not be following their patients as closely as they should.
Their response, however, I think is measured. It's telling us that even though there's no science linking these antidepressants to suicide or increased depression, it still requires careful monitoring.
The biggest concern many psychiatrists have about today's announcement is that some of the very people who may need antidepressants the most might now be frightened away by the new warnings. John McKenzie, ABC News, New York.
Our closer look for tonight. When we come back, why was the FBI keeping tabs on John Kerry in the 1970s?